Does it surprise you that the 5 officers who murdered Tyree Nichols are black? Does this case show that police brutality actually does not have anything to do with race? According to the Memphis police chief, because these officers were black, it takes off the table that issues and problems in law enforcement are about race. But I think that comment is a total miss, and here's why. That analysis shows a very elementary and frankly ahistorical understanding of racism in the US. In every major era of anti-black racism, there have been black perpetrators of direct and in some cases even systemic violence against other black people. For example, we already know that modern-day policing has roots in the system of slave patrols. But even during the era of slavery, there were black overseers who were in charge of watching over other enslaved black people and enacting violence at the sign of trouble or disorder. Does that fact mean slavery had nothing to do with race? Obviously not, and if anything it shows another layer of insidious complexity of the system of slavery by showing how white supremacy pitted black people against each other to uphold its existence. And moving into the 20th century, some of the worst cases of racism involved black perpetrators. And we don't know too much about them, but there's a clear record that the white relatives of Carolyn Bryant recruited black men to kidnap and murder Emmett Till. Does that make Jim Crow lynchings or Till's specific case any less about race? And in regards to structural violence, during the war on drugs and the war on crime, this book uncovers how it was often black judges and black legislators who enacted some of the worst policies contributing to mass incarceration. And at the same time, one of President Nixon's top aides admitted, "You want to know what this war on drugs was really all about? The anti-war left and black people. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities." So does the involvement of black politicians in this admittedly anti-black and very racist scheme mean it has nothing to do with race? And even more recently, one of the officers who helped murder George Floyd was black. My question still stands. Black agents of white supremacy have existed since before this country, and for almost nearly as long, people in power have used that as a way to deflect accountability from the racist laws, ideas, and social conditioning that make black victims vulnerable to violence from anyone in the first place. So no, the fact that these officers are black does not take race off the table. It's a clear display of how liberal reforms like increasing diversity amongst cops are hugely ineffective at preventing police violence. And by extension, it calls for more solutions that actually do tackle the root issue of these problems. To be clear, that root issue is the very racist criminalization of black communities as an ineffective and violent strategy to manage social failures like homelessness, drug abuse, and mental illness, which have grown out of centuries of race-based disenfranchisement specifically. And it's this racist criminalization that conditions even black officers to dehumanize and kill other black people without cause. If you learned something new, share this video and follow for more.